Dire news for the economy. The Treasurer has warned that an economic slowdown is on the horizon and that Australia will have to batten down the hatches. But there was one very big elephant in the room.
2.5 weeks out from the budget, Jim Chalmers is on a charm offensive, softening the ground for some tough decisions.
Above all else, the budget will be about responsible economic management at home at a time of economic uncertainty around the world.
That uncertainty is a response to reports from Treasury, the RBA and the IMF, all forecasting an economic slowdown that could wipe more than $3 trillion from the world economy.
We aren't being spared from the deteriorating global outlook, and we can't hope to escape these storms completely unscathed.
The warning was stark. Over the next 4 years, the costs of defence spending, hospitals, aged care and the NDIS are all set to rise, with interest payments on government debt expected to grow by 14%. But as the Treasurer spoke of
responsible economic management,
there was one thing he tried to avoid mentioning. Luckily, everyone else was there to help him out. The Stage 3 cuts are set to cost the government more than $250 billion over the next 10 years. The government is adamant it's staying the course.
The government has not changed our position.
But still appears to be testing the waters for a possible rollback.
I think people are up for a broader conversation, whether it's savings, trimming spending, whether it's the best optimal tax arrangements.
The opposition is already on the attack.
Labor is going to break another promise.
If the government does change course, it'll likely have the numbers in the Senate, as well as the opinion polls. So is Labor truly committed to the cuts it once opposed, or is the Chalmers Charm Tour softening us up for a switcheroo?
Well, it seems to me there's a bit of a rock and a hard place going on here, isn't there? So they either break their election promise and tank these tax cuts, or they go ahead with them, which it seems to be quite an unpopular option according to everybody that we're hearing there.
And in the end, they can't win because, as we just heard, what the opposition will do, if they keep the tax cuts in place, they're going to hammer them on that. And if they break the promise, they're going to hammer them on that. And it's really up to Jim Chalmers to decide the lesser of two evils.
I do think there's something to be said, though, for politicians and parties and governments keeping their promises. You know, they went to the election saying, we will do this. It's legislated, we'll keep it there. Don't you think that it's right for people to assume that they're going to do what they said they would?
There's nothing wrong. I mean, they almost never break their election promises, so it should be fine.
Have you been asleep for the last 25 years?
Definitely not.
There's a lot to be said for keeping your promises and doing what you say you're going to do. But, I mean, you could also say, why start now?
It's true.
Good point, Julie.